The interesting thing about breast cancer is that, 1 in 8 women are affected, and that's a very high statistic. And so, we all know someone that has it, had it, mother had it, sister, someone. And now with this, revelation to me about the ATM and prostate cancer, I'm telling men, when I tell my story, I make sure I talk to men and say, hey, if you have prostate cancer or you have it in your family, think about the women around you. Because now that I know that, and as I begin to tell my story and talk about it, the men are all surprised. And so that's one of the things I want people to think about and know, because, I also know my kind of breast cancer is the best kind to have. It was small, slow growing. They think it had actually been in my breast for 6 years. And so, had I not been having my very regular mammograms, it may not have, it's so slow growing that by the time I really felt a lump, it would have been way out of, the little place it was. And so, I have a friend that was diagnosed right at the same time as me, and our journeys were very similar. We walked this road together, and then all of a sudden, they changed paths, because she found some things in her lymph nodes. And so her whole journey, varied from mine. And lots of people are not as, lucky and blessed as I am, is that they have the more aggressive breast cancer. And, there's several kinds, and my sister-in-law being one of them. So, it's a very different journey for every woman, because it depends. It depends on what kind of breast cancer you have. So I feel very blessed and grateful, but I'm also very aware that my story is one of the ones that turns out well, and that there are many that don't. So it's a difficult journey, and one that's very personal. So tomorrow's my birthday, and we're celebrating that I am a year past this. And so this has been a little bit of, obviously, a year none of us expected with the pandemic, and certainly, I did not expect any of these things, but my prognosis is great. They said my ongoing prognosis is very good, and that my chance of reoccurrence is 1% or less. And so I sort of joke that I probably have, risk higher getting in my car and driving down the road. But I feel great, and, continue to do the 30 minutes a day that my oncologist says to walk, and eat as healthy as I can, and, see what's in store for me. This journey has taught me that I am not in charge of all things, and I can pretend I am, and I can act like I am, but at the end of the day, I am not. And all I can do, I don't know what cards I'm going to be dealt. All I can do is decide how to play them. And so I decided a while back that I was just going to focus on the things I could focus, and make the best decisions I could make with the information I had, and try to be as positive and in the moment as possible. I have to say, I also kind of think about things in a bit of a different way. When you, sort of get handed that pink bag, and, you all of a sudden are, all the what if scenarios are going on, it does give you a bit of perspective. When people are upset about something, or somebody, went in front of them in traffic, or did something, you're like, who cares? I'll go a bit slower. I'll wave when it's okay if you did something dumb. So it's a little bit of perspective of, some things that we all fuss and worry about are just not as big of a deal when you really are faced with, a decision or an instance like this, where all of a sudden, things change in a minute. So the resources that I used when I began my journey was my doctors. I also, I did not go crazy on the internet researching, because I didn't want to, find out all the exception situations. And so I was very true to the Susan Komen site and the breastcancer.org site. I spent most of my time on those two sites, and they sometimes would send you to some other reputable sites. Those are some great resources. And then also the other women that I talked to that had had the same diagnosis or similar diagnosis and or the surgeries that I've had, they were very helpful. And that network of women and girlfriends is incredibly important. So my advice to women and men about breast cancer would be, there's a connection between prostate cancer and breast cancer. So number one, that. And secondly, go get your regular mammogram. I've talked to so many women throughout my journey that have said, oh, I hate getting that, or I really don't like it, and that sort of thing. Well, you're gonna hate, being diagnosed with breast cancer more. And the quicker and the smaller it is before you're diagnosed, the better. So go get your regular mammogram, make time, do it the month of your birthday, do it in October, do it whenever you can remember, and go get your regular mammogram.